Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and a grand up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.
Hello and a very warm welcome to the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington and I'm delighted to be joined by two of the early pioneers of postcasts, legends Paul Keeley and formerly of Paddy Power, now an international independent racing advisor, Brendan Duke. And we've also got a welcome return to the postcast to a man who made the most blistering start to his postcast career. It is Paddy Power's odds compiler, James Ryan, who on his debut last autumn came up with the most obscure nap, Battle of Waterloo, 2 duck eggs by his name, running in some obscure evening race at Chelmsford, and the horse absolutely whizzed in at 10-1. Hopefully James has got another fantastic winning nap like that. Before we get to that though, we will look at the ITV4 racing card. There's 7 races live at Sandown and Wincanton. Fingers crossed they all go ahead. It's going to get pretty cold. I think Wincanton particularly may be vulnerable to the frost. There's loads of good stuff on Sunday as well. Really interesting race at Naas and a fantastic novice chase down at Plumpton, which could have all sorts of festival bearings. First of all though, Kills, how was your Yuletide punting in a word?
Dreadful.
Oh no.
Yeah, pretty awful. I mean, I managed to get a few horses beaten, but I didn't manage to back any winners at all. Like, you know,
you got them beaten by backing them to win, yeah?
Yeah, there was plenty of those. I managed to lay a couple that got beat.
Sam Crow?
Sam Crow, yeah.
Mengley?
Might Bite, Mengley Khan. But yeah, I wasn't backing the ones that beat them, you know what I mean, which is a bit annoying. I did have a little bit on Larichberg, actually. That was one win I had. I thought he was impressive as well.
Jolly good. Brendan, how are you? In good punting form?
Oh, sensational. I mean, I know this is going to sound like after timing, but I don't care. I was having a terrible time over Christmas. I lost the first 3 days, every day, couldn't back a winner. Went to a wedding on the Thursday night, was up till about 3 o'clock. Somehow got up and decided to go racing on the Friday. Back 2 8-1 winners and a 14-1 winner. And came out of the thing,
get on.
winning a small amount of money, just miraculous.
Ah, that's good. I think when the good guys after time, everyone likes it. It's when the people you don't really like to, they've backed loads of winners that it rankles. Talking of weddings, did you go to DJ's?
No, but I was on the long list. I didn't make the short list.
Oh, didn't you?
I was happy enough to make the long list.
Oh, I hear it was a good do. I'm sure you imagine his speech is only just finished. And James, quite apart from your sensational postcast debut nap, how is the punting? You in a rich vein of form?
Yeah, I'd like to think doing all right. Bruce, the old weather keeps me going as a flat-loving man until the Lincoln comes around, but I do like the bit of the jumps as well. Good.
Well, we're very much focused over jumps. Let's start with the 150 at Sandown, and this is the race that if you're after quality is the one that it's all about, because we finally get to see Lorena, currently second favourite for the Champion Hurdle. She runs in the Unibet Mares Hurdle over 2.5 miles. Is she too short for you guys to have priced up yet, or do you have some prices, James?
No, we have some prices. We actually priced this up Antipost, Bruce, as well. We were the only firm up. She's now 1-5. Santillano is 11-2. Smina Volin is 14-1, and Gotaway is 25-1.
Okay, well listen, unless you've got any particularly strong views on tomorrow's race, we will discuss Lorena more in the context of the Champion Hurdle than tomorrow's heat. Kills, are you assuming she wins, and if so, what is going to happen to her for the rest of the season?
Well, we don't know. She looked brilliant last year, but you have to put into context what she beat. The 2 horses who made the fame at Cheltenham were rated 136 and 122. The 2 horses who made the fame at Punchestown were rated 131 and 129. Then, you know, none of those horses you would back at 100-1 to finish in the first 6 in an 8-runner Champion Hurdle. Lorena, what she's got to do is she's got to prove she's better than she's shown. She's got to show a big jump in form. She isn't going to do that tomorrow because she's 5-1 on. She's officially £17 better than the next best, and that one hasn't finished a race for a year. So you know, all she's going to do is show that she's still got 4 legs, and the bookies are probably going to cut her. So it's interesting. She looks fantastic. I hope she does prove a massive danger to Bouvet Dare, but on the price she is at the moment, it's crazy. And she is the price she is at the moment because quite a few others have sort of backed out of it. You know, Somerville Boy and the likes, Sam Crow no longer champion hurdle contender, so something has to be second favourite.
Yes, it's a very muddling pitch, not helped by the fact also that Bouvet Dare himself got beat over Christmas. Brendan, your views on Lorena, less so in context of tomorrow, but more going forward.
Yeah, I mean, she is second fav by default, and she is kind of priced up on reputation. So all of it says she's a bit short. You wouldn't like to be laying her each way all the same, would you? I mean, they'd be struggling to get 8 runners in the champion hurdle. She is a mare. All right, it's hard to put a mark on her, but she could be anything. Mares have done well with the likes of Annie Power in the champion hurdle race. She should be getting that weight allowance. I wouldn't like to be laying her each way at 5-1. Okay. And now I know this is going to sound like sitting on the fence. I wouldn't necessarily back her. I'd probably be more inclined to back that Sharjah each way, but still, I wouldn't like to be laying her. I think it's a very tough race to be a bookmaker on the champion hurdle.
Indeed. James, are you a Lorena fan?
I am, but I'm not sure we're going to learn probably a whole lot tomorrow. Even if she doesn't win as impressively as the price, I still probably wouldn't be altogether put off on her. I think she can continue to improve, and it's kind of, again, with the mare's allowance going into the champion hurdle, I mean, she could be right there at that each way kind of edge as well, as Brendan said.
Okay, let's move on to the 225 at Sandown. It's the Unibet Tolworth Novices Hurdle, a race which obviously has produced some very high-profile winners in recent years. What have we had? We've had Yorkhill, we've had Lammy Surge, Somerville Boy, something else half decent one a couple of years ago. Who was it, Kills? Come on, help me. Oh, Finian's Oscar. And yeah. So there's a lot to live up to, and there is a horse in the betting here, and I'm sure when James reads the prices out, it will become apparent who it is, who does have fairly strong festival claims. James, take away the betting on the Tolworth.
Our favourite for this, Bruce, is Rathill at even money. Elixir de Nuts is 15-8. Grand Sancy 13-2. Southfield Stone 14-1 and 20-1 bar.
Yeah, so I think Rathill is roughly about 16-20-1 for the Supreme. Brendan, what do you make of this race?
Well, they've decided to run him instead of Birchdale, and Birchdale was he was one of the horses who most caught my eye so far this season. So if they think he's better than him, well, it's not necessarily saying that. They might have other plans for Birchdale, but this is a grade 1. So you might infer that they think he's better than him, and if they do, he'll take an awful lot of beating here.
Okay, are you going to row with the favourite as well, James?
No, I'm going to go for Elixir de Nuts here. I thought he was very solid form and beat some very decent yardsticks in the Supreme trial in November. Horses in behind were all enhancing the form, with Sedan running on well in another trial and 2 for Gold, easily winning a novice hurdle. He was very impressive then last month, giving a stone away to Jarvis Plate, who has come out and bolted up in a listed novice since. I think Rathill again could be anything, but at the prices, I just think there's enough in the prices to go for Elixir de Nuts.
Kills, you're going to be at Sandown tomorrow. Who are you going to be lumping on?
Yeah, mate. The betting doesn't really... It doesn't really tell you how close the race is on the figures, that's for sure. I mean, well, obviously Rathill hasn't got a mark, but on our Racing Post figures, he's just behind Elixir de Nuts, who has an official rating of 140. Southfield Stone has an official rating of 140, and it's 14-1. And everything he's done really easy. He's by the same sire as Simon Sigg, has got that keen going style. He's a much darker grey. I think he could be a really, really nice horse, and he's double the price of Grand Sancy. Now, Harry Cobden, you assume, gets the choice. He chose Clanders Oboe, according to Paul Nicholls, for the King George, who was a bigger price than Politolog. You could argue Grand Sancy actually has the best form, having finished 4th in a really valuable handicap hurdle at Ascot. I think this is a much tighter little race than it says than it suggests by the betting. Now, obviously, Nicky Henderson was talking about this race for Rathill, apparently even before the Newbury contest that he won, so he might be very good, but I'm going to take a chance on Southfield Stone.
Southfield Stone 14-1 with Paddy.
7-2, finishing the first 2, that'll do?
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, 3 o'clock. From unexposed types to gnarly old veterans, it's the Unibet Veterans Handicap Chase. It's the final of the series, Veterans Chases. Absolutely superb, 3 miles and some real old favourites. I cannot believe that any horse in this field hasn't been backed at least 5 times in his career by Paul Keeley. James, what's the betting?
Bishop's Road as our 6-1 favourite, Rock On 13-2, Loose Chips 8-1, Le Rev 9-1, Caltram Abbey 9-1, Rathlin Rose 9-1, and then 10-1 Bar.
And you can go first, James.
Yeah, we're also 6 places on this, Bruce.
Oh, lovely.
Wide open contest. I'm going with On Tour here. He's potentially the second string behind by Wise on jockey bookings, but it's hard to know in that kind of case with Mitchell up. I was really encouraged with his 2 most recent runs. In the Veterans Chase at Chepstow, he travelled really well into the race and just got a little bit tired and wasn't really beaten about once he was, his chance was gone. Last time on this mark, he won an 80k pot really well. He's a very good record if the ground does kind of come up on the good to soft side. So wouldn't mind it kind of on the quicker side. And Mitchell's taken off £5, so he's £10 lower than that really promising run in Chepstow.
Okay, Keels. Who are you going to go for? A lot of your old muckers here, isn't there?
I can't see a horse in here that I haven't backed at least 3 times before, let alone once. It's that sort of race, isn't it? I love them. I can't really understand Bishop's Road being fav, to be honest. I mean, he's turned into a bit of a clumsy horse. He wants softer ground. The trainer hasn't had a winner since November. He's got a lot against him. He did win really well round here once, but a while ago. The one I like, the 2 I like, Le Rev. To start with, Le Rev's got some cracking form right-handed, a lot of it at Sandown. He was 3rd in the Bet365 Gold Cup. He did pull up in 2016, 2017 there, but other than that, he hasn't been out the first 3 and 5 other chase starts at Sandown. He had a long break, came back and ran in a qualifier at Warwick, and he was last, but he ran well, and it was the wrong way round. He was beaten 14 lengths by Beat That. With Exitas in second, and Exitas is the other one that interests me. He made an unusual mistake for him and unseated over Christmas at Kempton, but he's actually one of those horses. He's an 11-year-old who's been in career best form this season. He won really, really well at Aintree a few runs ago. He has run consistently well since. Drying ground is good down the back straight apparently, and mostly good to soft. That'll suit him. So they'd be my 2 against the field.
Great. Now then, Brennan, you're happiest on the Curragh watching a load of unexposed 2-year-olds start their careers. So this isn't really right up your alleyway, is it? But hopefully you've sussed one for us.
I thought it was obviously a very tricky race, 5-1 the field or whatever, but the Rock Gone looked the most solid option in the race to me. He invariably runs well. I thought that was a perfectly good comeback behind Loose Chips. Now, his career best run actually probably came first time up, but generally he has come on for his comeback, and maybe that he's getting a bit longer in the tooth. He might just need a run to tee him up for this race. Now, even repeated that run will see him go close. He's £8 better off with Loose Chips, but I could see him coming on slightly further, and if he does, he has to go very close. You're
a sucker for a good doctor-trained beast, aren't you, Brendan?
Oh, yeah, you got to respect the doctor. Physician, heal thyself, Bruce.
Sam Twiston Davis rides that one, and you can get his exclusive views on that one's chances.
Must mention the two.
Just promoting his column in the Racing Post. Hang on, in the Racing Post tomorrow. Go on, Kills.
I thought you'd finished. So I must mention the 2 course specialists here, the oldest boys in the party as well. We've got Pete the Feet, 15 years old, won it 2 years ago, second last year, and Loose Chips always runs his race round there. He's 13 years old. He's got a big chance too.
Excellent. Are you doing dry January?
Don't be ridiculous.
Okay, so you'll be nice and merry by the time it comes to 3 o'clock. Will you go and look at them in the paddock?
I will do, yeah. Well, assuming I can still stand by then. Yeah.
Oh, sure you
yeah,
can.
no, I'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, it's not that bad, is it? 3:35, the final one of the ITV4 races, is the 32red.com handicap hurdle. James, take it away with a show of betting.
Yep, Bonser Lecoq is 5-2. This time next year 7-2. Ara Merlin 4-1. Court Royale 6-1, and 7-1 Bar.
One of an annoyingly high number of 7-runner races on the box tomorrow. Kills, who wins this?
I make this between 2. One of them's the Fav Monsieur Lecoq. Now, I thought, it was probably a 2-bob race he won at Foss last time, but the runner-up was trained by Venetia Williams and had been smashed in the betting all day. Went from a big price down to 6-1, and came to sort of make a challenge, and Monsieur Lecoq just strode away and won easily. It was 11 lengths back to the third. I think an official mark of 122 isn't that bad. He was third, 3 start to go, and there were a couple of horses behind him who are now rated higher than him, so he's probably very well handicapped. And Ara Merlin was second to Call Me Lord in this race last year, well clear of the rest. He's £5 higher now, but obviously Call Me Lord's about £18 higher than he was then. He came back to form last time on good ground, likes it a bit softer, so one of those 2 will win.
Which one?
Monsieur Lecoq.
Brendan.
I quite like that this time next year. Now, annoyingly, he got £5 for finishing second the last time, but he's up to a mark of 120 on it. He was nudging a 90 horse on the flat, so that would suggest he's still well handicapped. And I just wonder, was he in front a little bit too soon? Was that really heavy, cloying Sandown ground? And he travelled into the race, got to the front, and he was worn down by a re-rallying winner. The winner's gone and run well since. I thought maybe this time he could go one better.
Righty ho. Not having that kill.
He's got I backed him last time. I was counting the money going to the last.
Yeah.
He got caught. Well, what's the matter with you? And then you look at his form figures, 2-2-2. I mean, there's no way he shouldn't have won that race. Like, he's going to have to be smuggled into it after the last Sandown up that hill. So
Not the place to do that,
is it? It's just hard.
Okay, we'll see. James, who do you like?
I'm with Aaron Merlin here. I thought he won quite well the last day in Wincanton. Although he's raised £8, he looks like he still could be on that kind of little bit of an upward curve. The third has won since and is £17 higher now than when he was behind Aaron Merlin. And the fourth, Lord Napier, ran a really well big race at Ascot the last day. I think it's solid enough for him. I think he'll be hard to beat here.
Brendan, just going back to you there, you referred to the last time. Are you a last timer or the last day merchant normally?
Well, it was just a pun on the beast name I was using there, but now that I've had to explain it, the joke has fallen flat.
No, but are you generally the last day?
I usually say the last time.
Oh, excellent. That's very unusual, isn't it? Because that's very much an English-Irish thing, that, isn't it? It sounds... Oh, God, yeah. We don't say the last day. We don't say the last day over here. We say last time out or the last time,
Actually, now that you mention it, I think I do say the last day. I think
yeah,
you're right.
no, that's a very clear definition, that.
Right.
And any English people who say it just sounds completely wrong. It sounds totally wrong. Okay, anyway, that's Sandown all done and dusted. We'll do Wincanton next.
Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and £1,000 up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.
Welcome back. So, as we said earlier, let's hope the frost doesn't bite too hard down at Wincanton and their 3 televised races can go ahead. We'll look at the first of them now. It's the 205, the Bet Victor, bet £5, get £30 offer chase. It's over 2.5 miles. It's a Novices handicap. And James, how do Paddy Power bet?
Cupatana is our 11-4 favourite here, Bruce, followed by Molyneux at 4-1, Caltex 9-2, Enola Gay at 5-1, Midnight Maestro at 6-1 and 8-1 bar.
Brendan, what's your fancy?
Yeah, well, I have to take on this Cupatana. I had a meaty wager on this second. I watched her win in Kempton and she jumped like a gazelle, and I backed her when she ran in Newbury and she jumped like a snooker table, and then she didn't get much further than the third fence the next day. So I don't know what to make of her at all. So I want to take her on. I thought maybe this Caltex. First run since leaving Gelliot, second behind Bell's Hill. Another one got £5 for finishing second, which isn't ideal, but they were miles clear of the third, or the Ballyhill, not Bell's Hill, sorry. And the Ballyhill went and ran perfectly well in a better race behind ASO on New Year's Day, giving the form a boost. I thought he was a solid proposition at around 9-2.
That sounds very plausible. James?
I'm in the exact same boat as Brendan for pretty much the exact same reasons. I don't think the £5 higher should be much of an issue, and I think he's still slightly unexposed and only a second start for Henry Oliver.
Lovely. And Keels?
3 out of 3.
Excellent.
Yeah, can't argue against it. That was a left-handed Aintree, who was second at Ballyhill. Done most of his running for Gordon Elliott on right-handed tracks and jumped a little bit right at Aintree, so might actually suit him going back round this way as well. So. Yeah, 3 out of 3.
Lovely. All 3 of our experts go for Caltex in the 205 at Wincanton. Let's see what they think of the 240 at Wincanton, the length and the odds with Bet Victor handicap hurdle over 2 miles, 5.5 furlongs. James, give us a show and then we'll stick with you for a tip.
We've Wallace Spirit here at 4-1, Wicked Willie at 11-2, Earl of the Cotswold 13-2, Ted Ham 7-1 and 8-1 bar. And in this one, Bruce, I'm going to stick with Wallace Spirit. I think he looks kind of chucked in here. He's a lot bigger elsewhere, but I probably prefer him on the left-handed track, as the last twice he's kind of hung up the straight. But I think Jerry McGrath will have learnt a lot about this mount and will really learn how to ride him. He thought he was by far the best horse in the novice hurdle in Kempton last time out, and even though he played up, he was still only 3/4 of a length behind a horse rated 134 that's gone on and won since. He only has a mark of 119 and it looks very lenient. I'd love to see Jerry just keep him on the inside of horses as they go up the straight and keep him kind of on the bridle and arrive as late as possible. It'll be a challenging ride, but I think Jerry has a really good pair of hands, so I'm happy that he's in the plate, and I think he could be really the one to beat.
Excellent. Sounds like a bit of confidence there because Paddy Power are a lot shorter than their rivals about Wallace Spirit. Kills, what's your fancy?
Yeah, I looked at that Wallace Spirit and then I watched the races. I mean, crikey, he's barely rideable when he goes. When he just hangs violently left. Now, they can come up along that hedge at Wincanton, can't they? And just maybe that'll stop him. But I mean, God, I just couldn't trust him, especially not his favourite. I like to look at Tedham. 3 runs in novice hurdles. Against some really, really good horses. Getaway Trump, he was second to last time. He was 4 to Al Dancer on his debut. He won a decent race, and then in between he was second to the Big Bite. Now the Big Bite's rated 141. Getaway Trump's now rated 145. Everyone run second in the Challow hurdle the other day, and he's running here off 125. I think that's a very, very fair mark. I think he has to go well.
And Brendan, who do you think will win?
Well, it's a mind melt of a race, this, I thought. But with the spirit of young James Ryan to guide me, I'm going for one that's first time blinkers, second run after a wind up, and has pulled up on its last 2 runs. That's the bad news. The good news is it's 16 to 1. The beast name is Martin, trained by Mr. Ben Pauling. He's only 7. I think he's only had 7 runs. And 2 of them, one in a novice hurdle and one in a bumper, would suggest he's absolutely pitched in off a mark of 117. Now, you have to be in the forgiveness business, but the boy Pauling, I have a lot of faith in him. He's a talented handler. The horse is only 7 and he's 16 to 1. So in a race like this, you might as well take a chance on one of the price.
Fantastic. Lovely stuff. Brendan, the 3:15 at Wincanton is the Bet Victor guaranteed run for your money handicap chase. 2 mile 4 furlongs. And what's the latest betting, James?
Calypto was our 5-2 favourite, followed by Copain de Classe 7-2, Catamaran de Soleil 9-2, and the Anvil 5-1 and 13-2 bar.
And Kills, who's guaranteed to give you a run for your money here?
Yeah, I don't know how Calypto can be favoured, to be honest. I can't believe he will be on the day. He was unseated 2 of his last 3 starts. He's thoroughly exposed 9-year-old. Copain de Classe, the key to him is freshness and decent ground. He gets both. He's had 64 days off. He's won 5 races in all. He's won 3 after breaks of more than 7 weeks, and he also won on his racecourse debut. So ignore the run last time. It was too soon after a very easy 10-length comeback win. I fully expect him to win and be fab.
The only frost we want to see at Wincanton is briny frost, isn't it?
Exactly, because this will win.
Okay, Brendan.
Well, I'm totally sold by that case. I don't have a strong counter. I was going to go for Sizing Platinum. He's not the most reliable, but if in doubt, go for the class option in the race. But Keels has made a compelling case for that beast, so I'll row in with that. Excellent.
And James?
I kind of like Calypto here. I just thought when you kind of look at a lot of the rest of them, their latest starts, they haven't really run that well. I thought Calypto was running an absolute belter here in Chepstow a week ago when about to make his challenge, and unseated Charlie Deutsch at the last when not really making that bad a mistake. He didn't really have a hard race that day, and even with Venetia Williams' horse there in such flying form, I just think he could be hard to beat when he's kind of the horse in form at the moment.
That was very diplomatically done. What you really wanted to say was, listen, you cheeky bastard, Kills. We put it in as favourite because it's going to win, all right?
It's got a completely different ground going the other way round.
Right, it's time for the roundup. So we've got the rest of Sandown, the rest of Wincanton, plus they are also racing at Newcastle, Lingfield, Kempton and Cork. Kills, what have you got? Don't give your nap away yet.
Yeah, just a couple of Sandown. Let's have a look. There's a 4-1 handicap chase at 12.45. And the rag will almost certainly be Gary Moore's Darebin. I had a look at him. I think 8 of his best 9 performances have been in fields of 5 or 6 or fewer runners. Almost all of his wins have been the same. And he's got course and distance form as well. He's got a very low weight. And I think Cape Land is likely to be favourite. He's done all his winning on flat tracks, and I don't know whether Sandown is going to suit him anywhere near so well. So Darebin there. And in the 120, another Gary Moore interests me. Fell last time, Larry.
Do you not have a cover on that phone?
No.
Why not?
Cover? Because I've got sure hands. I never drop it.
I bet you by the end of the year your screen looks like a spider's web.
Hey, I've never had a broken screen whenever I've had a phone. Ever.
Rightio. Okay.
There you go.
Who's the other one?
It's Larry in the 120. He fell very early. Might have even been the first at Plumpton last time, but he ran really well behind When You're Ready Freddie at Ascot first time up. Just got a bit tired, dived at the last. Based on his novice hurdle form right at the end of last season, he has to be well treated off a mark of 28. I think he'll run well.
Okay. Brendan, who's in your roundup?
What a gambler the boy Keeley is. The phone's got to be worth 20 times what the case is going to cost.
I just don't get it. It's not, and it's not even. It's a worse user experience. Feel that. Feel that with that nice case on it. It's lovely.
It's bloody TV. It's not a phone, is it? Look, I got one of the old ones that are smaller. These things are bloody ridiculous.
Yeah, but they're slippery. Honestly, I think it is. It's so reckless. I bet you break. I bet you drop it this year.
Plus, the company pay for it, so I don't care.
Well, that's not the attitude.
I've got chills just thinking about that. I only have one other horse, and it's my nap, Bruce.
Okay, we'll hold that then. Keep your powder dry then, Brendan. What have you got for us, James?
I'm going to give two horses here, just a quick little mention. I'm going to Lingfield in the 250, a horse of David Ellsworth called Target Zone. It's only his second start in a novice here, but he went off 100-1 on debut. So I'd be surprised if this isn't a little bit overpriced this time as well. He was a little bit keen and raced 3 wide the whole round in a really good novice. He was only a length and a half behind the horse in third, who has won since and rated 87. There's a few winners in this and a couple of horses with nice profiles that I think this horse could be overlooked and be quite a price.
Excellent.
The other horse that I'm looking at is in the Kempton 445, a horse called Drummer Jack. He's up to a mile today after a 7 furlong handicap debut for William Moore. Everything didn't go right for him the last day, and I think if he has a price, which I think he should be worth backing. And just for a little bit of context, the RP comment on him was, went right, bumped rival leaving stall, raced in the last 3-0, not much room over 2 furlongs, closed and not clear run over 1 furlong out, headway 1 furlong out, ran green, and so, went on to snatch 4th in the last ride. So I think he still will be a little bit overlooked, but I think he could be there at a price.
He won't be overlooked by me, definitely. Let's get the naps.
This will not be beaten.
Keels, what are you going to go for?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the old veterans and Le Rev, 3 o'clock Sandown.
Okay, Brendan.
The 1220 in Cork, Court Maid. She's a likeable, progressive mare. She gets weight from the O'Brien and Mead trained geldings. I think it's a good spot from an informed trainer. I tissued the race and I made her around a 7-2 shot. I think anything around that would be a fair bet, and I'll be backing her.
Lovely. And little drum roll for James. Can he follow up on the Battle of Waterloo? What have you got for us, mate?
Yeah, I'm going a little bit rogue again, Bruce. I'm going to the Kempton, the 715. It's a class 5 over 2 miles, a horse called Bird for Life. I think it's a very interesting horse. Has an exceptional record at Kempton, with being in the front 3 8 out of 11 times. She had a nice blowout on her first start back over a break over a mile 4, and she just dropped out the back and kind of ran on towards the finish. And now stepping back up and tripped to this 2 miles, I just feel that was a nice blowout the last day. I think she could go close, and it's a kind of competitive field as well, with a lot of horses having run well on their last starts. I think this could be potentially double digits, if not 20-1 plus. Ellie McKenzie is riding it again. She takes the £7 off, and this horse isn't a tough ride. He settles well, he hops out the back, and all you have to do is bring him out late and he kind of comes home himself. So I think she could run a really big race. Bird for Life in the 715 in Kempton.
Fantastic. Thank you, lads. Let's do Sunday next.
Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and a grand up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.
It's the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. Bruce Millington, Paul Keeley, Brendan Duke and Paddy Powers, James Ryan. Looking ahead to some good racing on Sunday over at Naas, and then we've also got a cracking card at Plumpton. Plus, there's a card at Newcastle too, but we will start with the big race of the day, the 150. It's the Lawlers of Naas Novices Hurdle. I think there's 9 runners, and we've got some betting from Paddy Power, haven't we, James?
We do indeed. Tornado Flyer is our 6-4 favourite, followed closely by Battle Over Doyen at 13-8. Lone Wolf is 9-1. Come to Me 10-1. Commander of Fleet 10-1, and then 14-1 bar.
So could well be some clues here for the Ballymore and some of the other Cheltenham novice races. Brendan, we'll start with you. First of all, what is Lawlers of Naas? It sounds like a car dealership to me.
No, it's a hotel, and they do a mean steak. I've had steak in it twice, and both times I considered booking a room with the piece of meat. It was a magnificent dinner. And now, of course, I know a day at the track does sharpen your appetite. You'll know that as well as I do. So maybe I should go in before racing, but no, I'm fairly sure they do. Yeah, and I've also heard from people who stay there during Punchestown that they do a mean breakfast as well. I haven't had the chance. But
well, I think you're entitled to a free room with steak and breakfast after that.
Never booked a room with a piece of meat.
Let's not go there, Kills. Keep it clean. Who's going to win, Brendan?
Well, it's a very interesting race. So Tornado Flyer was keen and jumped out to his left the last day. So going left-handed this time should suit him. But I think he'll need to settle better. Now, they might get a reason up the road because this race isn't loaded with pace. And I think he will need a decent pace to aim at. But whatever happens, I'd be worried about him settling. And this battle over Doyen just looks an absolute weapon. Now, the race he won in Navan hasn't worked out particularly well. I mean, the 7th went and won. But it won a handicap off 102, so I'm not sure how relevant that is. But his bumper form is working out, and he looked. I mean, I know I'm a sucker for this, but sometimes you have to believe your eyes. He looked the real deal, and I'll take a chance on him being the real deal on Sunday.
James, who's your fancy?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Tornado Flyer here. I just thought he looked very solid, and it's the same maiden hurdle that Get a Bird and York Hill won, so Willie kind of does send as probably his most decent one to that. And we can probably expect him to improve on that performance, as many of Willie's do. And that battle over Doyen, he looked like he was very good, and he could be anything, but I'm going to stick with the proven form and go with Tornado Flyer here.
Who'd you like, Kills?
Yeah, well, the problem is they can all look very good when they're beating rubbish, can't they? And that's the problem. They've both got very good bumper form, and they both won a maiden hurdle very easily. But what have they beaten? How good is it? They haven't done anything over hurdles more than a lot of the others in this race have. And when there's enough runners in the race, it looks like an each way type of race for me. I certainly wouldn't give up on Commander of Fleet, who looked an absolute machine in bumpers himself. Won his first race over 2.5 miles over hurdles, dropped back to 2 miles, just wasn't fast enough. He is a stayer. Commander of Fleet 10-1 would interest me each way. So would Get a Reason. Loads of decent form of the book. Second in a Grade 2 here last month. It won't be pacemaking. It's got a different owner. Noel Feely's gone over to ride it. He ain't going over there just to ride a pacemaker. So I think I might even back both of them each way and hope you get a blowout. I mean,
each way Dutching.
Yeah. You haven't. You don't, the whole point is these two. They might be brilliant, but they might not be.
That's not the strategy of a man who doesn't have a cover on his iPhone, is it, Brendan? 2 each way bets in the same race.
Yes, indeed, he's complex, isn't he? There's no doubt about it.
We know that. We know that. Let's turn our attention to Plumpton next. Beautiful little track down in Sussex. If you've never been to Plumpton, get along there. And why not get along there this Sunday? Because they've got 2 cracking races. We'll talk about the Sussex National in a minute. But first of all, the 110 is the follow out the races on Twitter novice chase. And there's some horses in here, Kills, who really could pop up and play a prominent role at the Cheltenham Festival, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have no idea what to make of this Master Dino, trained by Guillaume McKay. He was a Grade 1 winner over hurdles. He's been, winning chase after chase in France. He's been given an official rating of 157 by the British handicapper, and he's getting £5 off Knock the Noose, who's rated 148. Now, Knock the Noose, you could argue, has put in one of the best novice chase performances this season so far when he just bolted off out in front at Newbury, and I don't know whether they thought he was going to come back, but he did never look like coming back, and he just absolutely hacked up. And then we've got Glenlow, who was second in the Patemps. So I mean, you won't get a better
Slate House
down
down
the bottom.
him.
Yes, of course. No,
who are you going to go for? You're going to savour rather than bet?
Probably. I'd like to see Knock the Noose do it again round Plumpton. He might take a fair bit of catching.
Have you had what us Cockneys call a butcher's hook at this race, Brendan?
Unfortunately not, Bruce, but just again, I saw that race in New Reed because I backed Capitana. That was the race where she somehow finished second to Knock the Noose. I will be place laying Knock the Noose. I have a theory with horses like that. Now, it didn't work out with Undersow, but generally they weren't going to make the running on him at all, and he just could not hold the horse. Those horses tend to burn out rather than fade away. I wouldn't be shocked if he starts to go the wrong way very quickly.
Ooh, and James, have you had a look at this one yet? Have you formulated an early tissue?
We haven't formulated that. I think it'll be a very hard race to formulate a confident tissue. I think Glenn Lowe is I think he's interesting. I'd love to see him run well, and then, with the aim to kind of being Cheltenham as regards maybe the Ultima or something, whereas I think he could be a sneaky one for that if he kind of ran well and jumped well.
Has Gordon Elliott had runners at Plumpton before?
Yeah, I mean, they have this, I don't know whether he has, but they have this 60 grand bonus,
yeah,
don't they, if you win at Plumpton and then win at the festival. So he's over there for a reason.
Very interesting. Should be a good race. And Kills, tell us who wins the Sussex Nash.
Right, well, I managed to narrow it down to 2. The 2 Amigos, who's £10 higher for winning last time. It just goes from the front, and he might get them all in trouble. But he's got quite a lot of weight now, and I just think the Tin Miner was second to I See You Well when I was there on the 17th of December. looked to me then like he was coming back. He's I think he's £8 better off for 6 lengths, but the extra distance in this race I think is going to suit him. He looks like an out-and-out stayer, and he's off 10 stone with Tom Scudamore on, so he's the one for me.
Anything else you like on Sunday?
No, because it's all weather rubbish at Newcastle, and I can't have that.
Brennan, anything else you like on Sunday?
I have a couple at Naas. So Campiador runs in a 3-runner race, which is effectively a match. He'll be something like 4 to 9, but he's to give £6 to Articulum, who isn't a bad sort. Will probably jump out in front. He's a good jumper, and Campiador is going to be 4 to 9. So he's a tricky horse. I think he's worth taking on. So I'll chance something small on Articulum. And in the 220, I'm not sure this Arvico Blue is a total warrior of the turf, but he's a very good jumper, and bullying lesser horses in Handicap could be his bag. I'll take a chance on him as well.
James, anything else for us on Sunday?
Yeah, I'll mention the bumper in Naas at 350, and more than often turned out to be a pretty decent bumper. I think Red Jack has won it. Debouché was second in it before running well in the champion bumper. Le Richburg was also third. We actually bred one in this, Bruce, and we bred a horse called Long Mart. He's by a horse called Bellamy Road, who was an 18th length winner of the Group 1 Wood Memorial on dirt in America. And the mare we bought her when she was in foal to this horse, and from the family of the great Alba Hathry. So we weren't exactly have this in mind when we bred him, but we're hopeful that he can run well. He was always an athletic sort, but a big backward horse. But I think hopefully he can run well.
Lovely. Who's we? The family? Have you got a family breeding operation? Have you?
We do indeed. So it keeps us ticking over.
Who's your biggest success so far?
We had Dragon Pulse, so he's standing in the Irish National Stud, and we had Blue Dakota won a couple of years ago in Ascot, and the parents had Sondrio in 1989 to win the Supreme Novices for Martin Pipe.
How about that?
So
you remember that one, Kills, wouldn't you?
Yeah. That's the painting in the living room.
Excellent, nice. Okay, jolly good. Right then, so weekend plans. James, what are you doing? You grafting both days?
I'll be in Naas on Sunday, obviously to see him. So that's pretty much it. I'm quiet enough Saturday. Just watch the racing. Yeah,
taking it easy. New Year, take it after the Christmas excitement. A little bit of a calm down and a detox, eh?
Exactly.
Good man. Kills, you're going to be at Sandown tomorrow?
I'm going to be at Sandown tomorrow, and then I'm going to see my 52-year-old brother's 2-year-old daughter on Sunday.
Oh, blimey.
It's quite scary, that, isn't it?
Oh,
is that I could deal with it at that age.
Does she like her Uncle Paul?
Yeah, she's terribly shy to start with, but once she gets,
you're good with kids, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, I'm brilliant with kids.
You are absolutely fantastic with kids. Will you bring her a gift, or did you?
We've done all the Christmas presents are over there already. He's got a son as well. He was 8. He was great, but they still believe in Father Christmas. So
yeah. Should say because he does exist, in case we've got any younger listeners. And where will you be at Sandown? What's your favourite spot for hanging around?
I don't know. Play it by ear.
Do you ever get people come up to you and say, I love you, Kills, I love listening to you on the podcast?
A couple of times. Yeah, a couple of times. So lots of people like the podcast.
Yeah.
But that's great, isn't it? Stop and have a chat and a drink. Yeah.
Excellent, jolly good. And Brennan, what about you, my friend?
I'm probably going to be sitting in watching the racing tomorrow, and I will go to Naas. The forecast is set fair, so I will go to Naas on Sunday.
Are you still on a romance break, or are you sneaking around again?
I'm back on Tinder, but I've gone with a change of strategy on Tinder, which hasn't yielded any fruit yet. But I'm hopeful that the new year will see progress.
What's the change of strategy? Swipe up or down, or whatever you're doing there?
Grinder.
I've changed my bio.
Oh, have you? What, more mysterious or more open?
More open.
More open. Brilliant stuff. Okay, mate. Well, listen, good luck. Thank you, Kills. Thank you, Brennan. And thank you, James. Good luck with your tips. Good luck, everyone, with your punting. Don't forget, if you enjoy these shows, please do make sure you rate, review and subscribe wherever you're listening. Maddie's back on Monday to look back on the weekend and take a little tentative look at what else is happening next weekend. The boy Palmer and his sidekick Ian McLaughlin are back for the first golf postcast of 2019 on Wednesday. We've got football on Thursday, and then we're back next Friday looking ahead to, what have we got next Friday? Next weekend, we've got Warwick and Kempton. So do please join us for that. Have a fantastic weekend.
Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and a grand up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.